You've already tried generating images with Nano Banana 2. You put in a prompt, but the result isn't quite what you expected. So you tweak it and you get something different, but it's still not exactly what you were looking for. So eventually you just settle or you give up. Here's why that keeps happening. AI image models have a very specific structure they respond to: lighting specs, framing language, quoted text for rendering, camera reference anchors for quality. If you don't know that structure, you're guessing every single time, and the model is guessing right back at you. So I built an anti-gravity skill that knows the structure for you. Today, I'm going to teach you exactly what that structure is, and then I'm going to show you how the skill handles all of it automatically inside anti-gravity so you never have to think about it again. Here's what's actually happening when your prompt underperforms. Nano Banana tokenizes your text. It breaks it into chunks and weights each one against its training data. When you write one long blob, a futuristic city at night with neon lights and a person walking and it looks cinematic, everything gets weighted roughly equally. The model has to blend all of it, which means it's excellent at nothing in particular. The fix is giving it structured, categorical information, where each piece of your prompt has a specific role. The model knows what's the subject, what's the lighting condition, and what's the quality target. Nothing blurs into everything else. That structure is what makes the difference between an image that looks like a first draft and one that looks like a deliverable. And it's what the skill encodes, so you get it right every time without thinking about it. The structure has three layers. I call it the IPO prompt stack. First, the input: what you're generating, subject, action, and any literal text the image needs to display. Next, parameters: how it should look, lighting, framing, mood, and environment. And finally, the output: what quality tier you're targeting, technical specs and style references that anchor the model to a specific class or result. Every image type uses all three layers. The specific questions within each layer shift depending on what you're building. A product shot needs different parameters than an illustrated thumbnail. Let me walk you through each one. Quick pause. If you're finding these useful, I put out a short insight every week on applying AI systematically in your business. The link is in the description. And if you want to work through your specific implementation or roadmap with me directly, there's a link for that too. Okay, now let's get to it. Layer 1 is the input. The input layer answers one question: what is in this image and what is it doing? Most people get this part roughly right. They have a clear subject in mind. Where they lose is on literal text. Nano Banana 2 is exceptional at rendering readable words inside a scene: headlines, ad copy, UI labels, signage. But you have to tell it that you want text rendered literally, not interpreted as description. The way you do that: put any text you want rendered in quotes inside the prompt. Here's the first part of our sample prompt. The quoted text is a direct instruction to the model. Without the quote, it treats those words as mood descriptors and generates something vaguely related. With them, it renders the text accurately in the scene. The mistake I see constantly: people type their desired copy outside of quotes, get garbled text in the output, and assume the model can't do it. Now layer 2, parameters. Giving the model a complete visual brief. This is where most of the quality gap lives. The parameters layer tells the model the conditions of the image. Think of it as briefing a cinematographer. You wouldn't say make it look good. You'd specify lighting, soft studio, hard shadows, golden hour, neon. This single parameter changes the feel of an image more than anything else. Next, framing and composition. Centered, asymmetric, low angle, negative space. What are we looking for? And then mood. Premium and minimal, gritty and cinematic, clinical and technical, and finally the environment. A real location, an abstract background, or a seamless studio. So let's go ahead and add parameters to our prompt. Now there's one rule: don't contradict yourself. Cinematic neon lighting and soft minimal mood in the same prompt pulls the output in two directions. Before you finalize the parameters layer, read it out loud. Does it describe one coherent visual? If you hesitate, edit it. The third layer is the output. The output layer is how you tell the model what class of result to target. Nano Banana 2 was trained on millions of images tagged with camera equipment, render engines, and resolution specs. When you reference those specifically, you activate the model's understanding of what high quality output at that specification level looks like. You're not literally using a Sony A7. You're referencing a quality cluster the model already knows. For illustration or digital art, this layer shifts the style references instead. Same layer, different image type, different language. Let's complete our prompt. Here's the full IPO prompt assembled. We have input, parameters, and output. Let's hit generate. And in the first try, we get a professional quality image without any iterations. Now you understand why the IPO stack works. But I want to be straight with you. I don't manually write out these 3 layers every time I generate an image. I built a skill that does it automatically. And because it runs inside Antigravity, it's in the same place that you can actually generate the image too. So no switching tools, no copy pasting between tabs, just one workflow. The link to the skill is in the description, so you can go ahead and grab it from there. Inside Antigravity, create a project folder. Inside your project folder, create a folder called .agent. And inside there, create another folder called skills. Inside your skills folder, go ahead and drop the entire skill folder that you got from the description. Let's go ahead and confirm that Antigravity can see the skill. Perfect, it can see the skill. Now let's go ahead and generate a prompt. We'll start with simple instructions. I want to generate a static ad creative for a real estate agency. It's going to ask me some follow-up questions. What kind of property do we want featured? And is there any specific text or slogans you want written directly on the image? I've answered both of those questions, and let's see what it does next. It's asking some more clarifying questions. Setting and the environment and some lighting. The great thing about this skill is that it also gives you suggestions, so if you're stuck, you can just fall back on the suggestions that it gives you. Once I've answered the follow-up questions, it should go ahead and generate a full prompt for me. Right, here's the entire prompt, complete with all 3 elements from the IPO stack. Let's just copy this, paste it in here, and tell it to generate this image. Because we're using Gemini 3.1 in Antigravity, we also have access to Nano Banana. It took the entire prompt and it's generating the image for us. So that's the full loop. One tool for prompt engineering and image generation all in one go. So here's what we covered. Nano Banana is exceptional, but it needs structured input to deliver consistent quality. Unstructured prompts get blended, average outputs. Structured prompts get precise ones. The IPO prompt stack gives every part of your prompt a specific role. And if you don't want to build this manually every time, the Antigravity skill handles the whole thing. It interviews you, builds the prompt, and feeds it straight into Nano Banana 2. Same tool, same window, no extra steps. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more AI and automation content.